Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. We're here with another episode of Guided by Spirit. I am your host, Richard LaRocco, with my amazing co-host, Miss Pauline Raffaella. How you doing, Pauline?
Hi there, Richard. I'm doing pretty good today. How about you? How are you feeling?
I'm getting there. I tell you,
Good.
I'm still have some stuff in the chest, in the lungs. I still have some congestion and stuff here, trying to get my energy back, but I am doing so much better than before. And thank you again for everybody that commented, such beautiful comments. I'm really just excited to be back and doing this. And today we have a really great topic. We're going to kind of branch off of what we started yesterday. And we're going to kind of, people started asking, like, what did you do? And what about this? And you mentioned parasites. And I had several comments about parasites. So we're going to kind of dive into this natural medicine, this thing called natural medicine, holistic medicine. And we're going to kind of like see where it takes us. How's that
Yeah,
sound?
that sounds great. And I had some interest from a client who also wanted more information on parasites and protocols. So
Yes.
I'm going to share one of my protocols today, and all of this is going to lead up to something like phenomenal next week, but I won't give anything more away yet.
All right. So before we start with that, let's get into what's going on energetically because we have a lot going on. We have a lot of energy, a lot of stuff going on. So let's get into universally speaking, Pauline.
Yep.
What the heck is going on?
So, all right. Well, so last week we talked about Venus retrograde, and so it's still retrograde, and I think it's going to be retrograde until the end of the month. And so again, the reflection on relationships and love and money, by the way. So do take a deep dive, a look into yourself, relationship with self, a relationship with others, your relationship with money. This retrograde is meant for you to look at perhaps what's not working to understand how to get it working, okay? To remove the blockages that are preventing you from having a stronger, deeper relationship with yourself, with others, and with money. So that's the Venus. We're still in that. But we also now have to, as of tomorrow, the 14th of March, we have a massive lunar eclipse in Virgo. And Virgo, Virgo's a great sign. They're probably some of the most honest, nicest people. But they've got this critical side to them, a critical, analytical side. The glass is half empty instead of half full. So with this full moon tomorrow, full moons are always about letting go and releasing what no longer serves you. So here's some of the things you need to let go of, and that's what this moon is going to help you do. Stop being so critical of others and self. Stop being so analytical. Stop being a perfectionist. Nothing in life is perfect. The glass, stop looking at the glass as being half empty. And stop being the martyr. Stop being the woe is me. That's all what Virgo will have us looking at now. Because here's what we want to rise into as this full moon works its magic. We want to rise. We want to start to rise. We want to envision. We want to accept imperfection because we're in 3D. There's no such thing as perfection. We want to get humorous. We want to be in humor instead of negativity and pessimism and all of that. All right. And we want to stand in our power. We don't want to be the martyr. We want to stand in our power. Okay. So those are just some of the things that we can expect as this new moon is already, even though tomorrow is the day, you can already feel it. It's already in the sky. You can already feel it. It has a huge glow around it. Anybody notice that?
Yes.
One of my clients messaged me and said, Paulina, there are two moons. It looks like there's two moons. Now she's in Staten Island. We're a couple of hours away from each other. And I said, well, it looks like there's just one moon, but it's got a big glow around it.
Mhm.
So get rid of release to the moon, let go of being critical, too analytical, needing perfection, looking at the glass half empty, stop being the martyr, stop being the woe is me, rise, start envisioning your future with confidence, accept imperfection. It's part of the game here, and laugh about it. Add some humor to the imperfection, okay? And stand in your power. That's what I got today.
Best things is to, when you take yourself too serious, when you're overly critical, laugh at the imperfections. Just kind of sit back, heal through humor. One
Yeah.
of those things. Don't take yourself so serious. Life's hard enough.
Yeah.
Get out of your own way. Don't overthink. No paralysis through analysis. Let
Yeah.
that stuff go. You know, it's
It,
really
it,
big stuff, but there's a
it's
lot of energy.
yeah, it's a lot, and especially because of the energetic political climate that we're in right now, right? As the age of Aquarius is trying to is anchoring in, and we are actually ascending, despite what it appears to some people to look like it's not, it's horrible, it's this, it's that. Again, if you're looking at the glass that's half full instead of half empty, there are solutions on the other side of that. All right. There's always something new coming down the pike. So don't get stuck in the look at how bad everything is right now, whether that's personally, whether that's globally, whatever that is. The one constant is change. And I assure you and promise you, change is a coming, and it's going to be good. And that doesn't mean that we it's all smooth, right? It's not going to be smooth, so let's not be critical of the process. It's rocky sometimes, right? But that's okay. That's We learn and we grow. So the glass
There
is
you
hard.
go.
Yeah.
So if you have questions energetically, if you have questions regarding what's going on with the phases, the full moon, the solar eclipse, all kinds of things, write your comments
Mhm.
for Pauline and I. In the comments, we want to hear from you. Also, if you just want to stop by and say hi, we would love to hear from you. So kind of got a lot of feedback last week of our topic and was basically talking about um, kind of what I did, what I went through, things like that, but more of the medicine. And there was a word that you used last week that caught a lot of interest, right? Parasites. And I don't think people realize when you think of parasites, you think of like bugs, insects, but parasites, we're going to dive into a little bit of this today. We're going
Mhm.
to talk about some holistic or alternative medicines, things to start helping yourself. And then we're going to do a deep dive into some protocols that Pauline takes, some things that I use. And then we're going to set it up for next week, which is big. And I'm really excited because you and I both know this person and both admire her. So she's going to be amazing next week, a wealth of knowledge. So if you're watching, get your questions ready at the end of this show for next week because let me tell you what, if anybody knows, she knows. And this is really going to be good stuff because you're going to see a lot of what's out there tied into the very simple things you struggle with: chronic fatigue,
Mhm.
autoimmune, food sensitivities, rashes, swelling in the body, you name it, and so much more.
Yes.
So let's kind of talk about, Pauline, we focus on conventional medicine. You go to the doctor, you go to urgent care, you go to your primary, you go to a specialist, rheumatologist, gastroenterologist, whatever, right? And we have that side. Think of it as like that side of the room, okay? And then we have everything where you and I live, right? we kind of go to this side first instead of the conventional side. And that's like we break a bone, we're in an accident, God forbid, then we go to the conventional side. So let's talk about what is alternative medicine. What are different forms of it? Let's start educating people and then
Sure.
to kind of set up for what we're going to be doing later on and then next week and maybe even a couple of shows. So what do you do? How would you explain it to the novice?
Yeah, well, natural medicine, alternative medicine is the opposite of allopathic medicine, right? These are not prescriptions. These are medicines that usually come from the earth. These are herbs or these are homeopathic remedies, and 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 they work. They work. And part of the reason why herbs, and the herbs are my passion, but part of the reason why herbs work so well is because our bodies have only gotten used to or are trying to get used to allopathic, like, prescription drugs since what, the 1920s? So somewhere around there when these drugs were made, right, in the pharmaceutical industry. If we go way back, even to the prior century, there were no drugs. There were only plants and herbs. And the body, if we go back 2, 3, 4, 5,000 years, this is what we use. This is what the human used. Plants, plant medicine. And, hypocrisy said, and I wrote this in my book, right? I have to get the quote. I'll get it as you're talking. But nature has made medicinal medicine in plants, and every medicine that we need as humans is already out there in nature. It's already there.
Yeah,
We just have to know what it is. We don't know because we live more modern times. People don't know how to walk through the woods and say, "Oh my goodness, that's digitalis. Oh my goodness, that's burdock root. Oh my, that's dandelion." Well, most people know dandelion because it pops up. It's a weed that pops up on your front lawn and people want to kill it. But it's actually a sign that the soil is actually very fertile. And dandelion is an excellent liver cleanser as well as blood sugar reducer. So this is more natural medicine, alternative medicine for starters.
so, it's funny, people don't understand this. So, when you get back to before there was ibuprofen, there was wormwood, right? And before there were certain things, I mean, we would take, all of these things to help us. Now, in modern day, right? What are some things, when you and I do essential oils, right? We talked about high quality, high grade, and that's going to be the key here, right? If you're going to get this stuff, try to get it from a practitioner or
Yeah.
organic or a trusted third party tested company. Don't just go to your nearest like local box store and it's on sale for $3.99 or $2.99, or if it's on clearance with a bunch of other stuff, and you've never heard of it. Oh, yeah, let me get this. No, do your homework, do your due diligence. One of the most important things when healing yourself is educating yourself,
Mhm.
right? We are our own advocates.
Yeah.
We are, little
I
things
always
like this.
Yeah, I always believe there should be like an herbalist in every family. Everybody should study some degree of herbal medicine, natural medicine, because plant medicines, because it works. And it's funny, you mentioned two herbs, um, willow bark and wormwood. So just so that everybody knows, white willow bark is an anti, it's a fever reducer and it's an anti-inflammatory. It is a component of Bayer aspirin. That's where Bayer aspirin comes from. They take the chemical component out of the willow plant and they isolate it and they make that as Bayer aspirin. So it would be much better to take the willow bark. Okay, this not may not be as potent right away, And then you mentioned wormwood. So the So wormwood is a dewormer. It's a natural plant that gets rid of parasites and worms. And I guess the modern version of that would be ivermectin, right?
Yeah, and wormwood is also really good for pain too. And when we start talking about ivermectin, we start doing this, and we're going to kind of talk about that a lot because that's going to be a really big thing. And we've heard you and I have talked about this. There are people that have beaten stage 4 cancers with literally two ingredients, ivermectin and methylene blue, which I started taking, Dr. Pina had me taking, and my tongue's all blue, and it looks like I ate a Smurf. My tongue was darker blue than my my hoodie here, but little things like this can really make the difference. Now,
And
I want to get,
I just
go
want to
ahead.
ask you a question. So
Yes,
you just made, yes, the methylene blue and other more natural medicines, all right, can heal cancer. Why?
yes.
Because what is that cancer? What is that cancer made of?
Well, cancers, I mean, if you look at it, first of all, there's a lot of theories to this. There's a couple
Yes.
theories that we all have a form of cancer cells in the body, right?
Hmm.
But a lot of times it's activated by parasites. You know,
Exactly. Exactly.
we've talked about where parasites kind of activate things. They wreak havoc in our system.
Mhm.
Now, to kind of desensitize everybody, it is not uncommon for everyone, including everyone watching, everyone out there. They're like, I don't have parasites. Lies you tell. Yes, you do. The average person has between minimum 5 different parasites in their body. It is in everything. Okay. I've seen literally clips of people taking a Dorito out of a sealed bag, put it under a microscope, and literally it is covered in parasites. Sushi, salmon, raw fish, right? Meats. Now, again, anything you eat, fruits, vegetables, all have it on there, right? It is in everything. So what we have to do is kind of like educate ourselves. When I started doing my, kind of health transformation 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, first thing I did is I did a parasite cleanse and a heavy metal detox. And I did 3 months on, 3 months off, 3 months on. And why? Why heavy metals? Well, everything usually has heavy metals in it, right? Um,
Yeah.
Chemicals, our clothing, right? Things that we smell, perfumes, it's laced with heavy metals. So you got to get that stuff out of your body. It's toxic, right? So ivermectin, we talked about the parasites and cancer.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, what protocol you mentioned, and we saw you kind of grab your protocol. What do you take, Pauline?
So I try to do a parasite cleanse, um, well, at least once a month. If I feel I need it more, it's a 3-day cleanse. You do 3 days on and then you stop, right? Because you've got to let the body rest a little bit. All right. And then you can start again. So I like to do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then rest for the week. All right. So I do it 3 days on. Because this is the school that I'm certified from in herbal medicine. I do take the Dr. Christopher original herbal formulas. Dr. Christopher was probably one of the first men to form an herbal company where they began to teach people how to forage, how to identify herbs in the wild, and how to make their own formulas, right? And their own herbal remedies. And this is going back into like the 1930s. So what I take is Dr. Christopher's. This is called Dr. Christopher's VF syrup. All right. This is the VF stands for vermifuge, which is a parasite um, liquid, and it has wormwood in it, and it has It has senna leaf in it. It has a bunch of things in it, black walnut, and it has a bunch of wildcrafted fern. It has a bunch of herbs that are anti-parasitic, meaning they will kill the parasite, but it will also keep the intestines calm. All right, it has other carminative herbs in there. All right, so that you don't get gas and cramping. So that I take this. There's 2 teaspoons a day, one in the morning, one at night. Then I add in 2 to 4 capsules of the Dr. Christopher Heavy Mineral Bugleweed. Just as you said, it's really good to do a heavy metal detox with the parasites. So I take 2 to 4 of those. 2 of these with the teaspoon of that syrup, and then 2 of these at night with the syrup. And that's basically it for 3 days. And then you go off it, and then you can go back on the next week. But some of the things you will need in addition to that is you need peppermint tea, if you like peppermint or ginger tea, because that helps to calm down the intestines, and also helps to remove the dead parasites, okay, or yeast or whatever you're trying to clean out of your system. Peppermint tea. I do like this product. It's called Quick Colon, and you just take one a night while you're doing the cleanse. And boy, just watch out the next morning. It just cleans you out. And finally, you need a good probiotic. Okay, while you are detoxifying, killing things off, excreting it, you want to replace the good bacteria. So a good probiotic. I use Friendly Force, but there's a lot of good ones out there. So
Yeah.
that is my routine, and I did it last week, and will be doing it again this coming week. I'm going to do it for 4 weeks in a row to clean everything out. And you really do feel differently. You feel clean.
Yes. So I put in the comments here a couple of things, Dr. Christopher, some practitioners to really for people to start looking up, right? Because this can get very overwhelming. One of the things I say is go to YouTube. It is a phenomenal resource. YouTube is the second most used internet search engine next to Google, right? So Dr. Christopher, Barbara O'Neill. Another big one is for me, Dr. Eric Berg, Dr. Mercola. I got turned on to him by Dr. Pina, who we've had on our show. And
Mhm.
that's just a few. So start doing some research and check out what exactly, this is. A lot of them do sell supplements. Okay. We're not here to sell. We don't get paid. We're not sponsors. But if you want to, you can. You can sponsor us through product. Okay. I'm sure Pauline would take some products along with myself. But what this is these are things that we use to help ourselves heal, right? It's important. And why we're going to focus a lot on the gut is because a lot of what ails us starts in the gut, the flora, the
Right,
cortisol we hold, everything's in the gut,
right.
right? It's all in the gut. So we're really going to talk about this. We
Yeah,
have some comments.
okay.
Go
90%
ahead, Pauline.
90% of all disease starts in the gut.
Yes, that's
So
why it's important.
yeah,
That's why it's important. They even say trust your gut feeling, right? I mean, they're even talking about everything starts in the gut.
yeah. And if anybody wanted to become certified as an herbalist, Dr. Christopher, those are the herbs, but the School of Natural Healing in Utah offers courses, and you can take them, and I think you can even take them online at this point. When I took it, there was no online. We did everything by mail. Everything was shipped back and forth by mail. But now I think they may have some online classes where you can get educated. And if you are part of my community and you get my events calendars, every once in a while I do offer a class on herbal medicine.
Yeah. So check it out. I mean, we have herbal medicine, then you have, Chinese medicine. We're going to get into all that. We're going to get it's all that. But I want a couple comments. So one of our regular listeners, Michelle, she put exactly, and I know she had a lot of health issues that she overcame through intermittent fasting, through diet, and through a natural way of living. And she
Yes.
is just an amazing story. Um, Stage 4 cancer, she beat it. She beat
Wow.
it, you know, didn't respond to the treatment chemotherapy. I think, Michelle, correct me if I'm wrong, you only did it once and then had a severe reaction and then did it through diet, removing all sugars, all things, which, by the way, kills the gut. Sugar is the enemy, right? Sugar's the enemy. So we'll get into that, especially next week. I'm sure our guest will talk about that. Then we have Michael. Hello, Pauline. Hello, Richard. Old Reliable hot tea with lemon and honey.
Yes. And that's very good for the stomach and the intestines, very soothing, a little detoxifying. The lemon is very cleansing for the liver, very good. Yes.
I would even add to that, even some ginger, grate up some ginger, steep it with the tea, and maybe even slice up some turmeric, and put that in there with the honey, would really jumpstart a lot of that and kill the antibacterial fungal properties. And
Yes.
that's what's important. Especially chai teas, you know, a lot of house-made chai teas, and I'm not talking about the stuff in a packet. I knew a gentleman from Punjab, and he would literally cut up the ginger and the turmeric and like mash it up, and he would put the cardamom, the fresh cardamom, and the clove and the cinnamon stick, and literally make a chai tea that was phenomenal. I
Yes.
mean,
All pure ingredients. And it's funny you mentioned the lemon and the ginger because I've been doing that every morning for about the past week or so. Uh,
yeah.
just yes. First thing in the morning, water, not coffee. First thing in the morning, you need to hydrate the kidneys with at least 16 ounces of pure water. You need to flush the system first before you eat and before you start sucking down some, some good Java.
Yeah, first thing I do on an empty stomach, I do 2 shots of apple cider vinegar with the
Yeah.
mother, with some really high quality. You and I were talking about this mineral water,
Yep.
first thing in the morning, and kind of put that down, let that sit. Really helps with the gut health, helps with regulating blood sugar,
Mhm.
keeping your insulin like this. I mean, it's amazing. And it does give you some energy, which is great. We got a lot of comments coming in.
All
So
right.
we have Yvonne who said, our friend Yvonne, hi, Yvonne, much love, big hugs. Do you eat a special diet, Pauline, when you're detoxing?
That's a good question because that we'll talk even more about that next week with our guest. But yes, I eat light when I'm detoxing. When I'm doing a parasite cleanse, I don't eat. I don't eat, I don't eat meat. I don't eat heavy. I eat light on the lighter side. I do stay away from breads and you stay away from sugar. So basically, the diet consists for me is would be some fish, maybe some chicken, very light, more vegetables, salads, and that's what I eat during that time.
Yeah. Great. And then we had Michelle. She put so she had mentioned earlier, I talked about no intermittent fasting, no sugar through her diet. She basically did a carnivore style, an elimination diet to stop inflammation. And she also put many prayers. Then she put, I was on chemo for a few years. It was a necessary evil.
Mhm.
And then she also says, every day I use apple cider vinegar. Again, if you're gonna get it with the mother. Now, here's the big thing. Bragg's apple cider vinegar used to be amazing. It was kind of the pinnacle, right? The evil empire bought it, and I'm gonna say that. Bill Gates bought it. If anybody doesn't know about that, He bought and started coating a lot of apples, a lots of fruits with a chemical wax. Okay. It is in, there are certain box stores that everyone shops in, okay, that has no idea that these fruits and vegetables are coated with this. It is highly toxic. Well, he bought Bragg's apple cider vinegar, which is funny because they were coating apples first with this chemical. The second I found out he bought, why is Bill Gates buying apple cider vinegar? I stopped.
Yeah.
If you can, go to the local health store and not like a vitamin shop. Go somewhere that it's an organic market that sells, bulk bags of herbs, spices. Every place has one,
Yeah.
okay? Or buy the best that you can. Amazon is a great resource. Look up a high quality and go get it with the mother. It is the bacteria. It's going to look a little cloudy, a little brown. You got to shake it up. It's going to be very murky, but that's where the magic happens.
Yes. Yes. Sadly, we have to switch brands. And there are other excellent brands, much smaller companies and more individuals that make the apple cider vinegar. I don't know if Cascadian Farms might make it. I'm using one that is not like a known brand. It's sort of like a very private, small label, but it's so pure and it's so delicious.
What's it called?
I don't know. I'd have to go see. I don't have the name offhand.
So Michelle, we've talked about Dr. Berg before, her and I. He suggests Fairchild. Again, if you can't find it, find the best one that you can. That is not a major brand, or even homemade. You know, I'm fortunate. I literally live near an Amish community. I'm in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. What do the Amish do? They don't go to the doctor, right? They literally make up all of their own stuff, just like we're talking here. And I have a store, you walk in, and they have pre-made tonics that the Amish ladies make for anything. They have bags of stuff. They make their own apple cider vinegar. Their butter is grass-fed raw and has to be labeled dog food because, right? Our food inspector comes in and says you can't sell this because it's raw. But guess what? I mean, this stuff is amazing, right? So find a place near you and really start digging in. Educate yourself. Dr. Berg, Barbara O'Neill, Dr. Christopher, Dr. McCullough. Every morning he sends out a newsletter. Start educating yourself, and you're going to see a common denominator, which is gut health.
Yeah. It's
Gut
very, very,
health.
very important. Very,
Yeah.
very important to know these things. And it's funny, when you were talking, you mentioned something about fungus. So, parasites are any organism that lives and feeds off its host. All
Hmm?
right. Human body, the human gut being the host. And so these parasites can be organisms, they can be yeast, also known as, excess candida, and you can have an overgrowth of that from eating too much sugar. Fungus, right? You mentioned that fungus can also be included in there, and certain bacteria and viruses. So one of the things that I do when I bring my fruits and vegetables home from the grocery store, I just soak them for a couple of minutes in water and I spray apple cider vinegar on them. So I spray apple cider vinegar on them, let them sit for a little bit, and then rinse them. And that kind of purifies them, it cleanses them of anything that might be on the top, like even apples on the skin on the apple or a pear. I don't do it so much for a banana because you peel the banana away. You eat the banana on the inside. But anything that you would just eat, like an apple or a pear, blueberries, strawberries, I I do a apple cider vinegar wash.
One of the really good things for that, especially you said blueberries, strawberries. Strawberries actually have a lot of those insects already inside of them.
Yeah,
So baking soda. should become a friend. Okay. Even white vinegar. I buy big jugs. I put it in my laundry. I clean with it. You can soak things with a little bit of baking soda, soak your fruits and vegetables. I'm telling you, it will cleanse it right away.
Yeah,
Little things like this really start helping live a clean, non-toxic lifestyle.
exactly.
It's in everything. And you said a banana. Well, the problem is that you've touched the banana, right, with your skin. You've peeled it. Now it's on. Now you're touching the banana to put it in your mouth. Again, little things to help you. Will you eliminate all the toxins and all this stuff? No, but this is a really important does it take the wax off the fruit? So, baking soda with vinegar, whether it's apple cider or white vinegar, will. Okay. And make sure you brush it. Make sure you clean it and kind of rinse it in even a warm or lukewarm water to get that wax off. Try to buy organic. Okay. Try to buy organic or the best you can afford.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
hard.
But it's exactly as you said, Richard, eating clean. And this is one of the ways that we can start eating clean. By doing, I know it's more work, and then you come home from a long day at work, and the last thing you want to do is start, scrubbing vegetables. But when I go to the store, I do everything. I clean all my fruits and vegetables beforehand, and then I put it into the refrigerator. So whenever I am ready to eat any of it, it's already clean. And I like what you said. Look, we're never going to be 100%, all right? Full moon in Virgo, the lunar eclipse, okay? Perfectionism. We're not going to have perfectionism, but we do the best that we can, and it makes a difference. It really does.
One of the best things I started doing, going to more of a non-toxic lifestyle, and it really, over the span of 2.5 years, have come down to every single toiletry, every single cleaning project, detergents, you name it,
Yep.
from air purifiers. I mean, literally, it's non-toxic, even down to the kind of like, medicines we take. And instead of aspirin, Highland makes a great product for migraine relief and, things like that. Just going from a non-toxic lifestyle, can you change everything? No, not at all. The air
No.
we breathe, one thing a friend of ours told us, she was like, the very first thing I would do is put a water filter on your shower because it gets in your skin. Guess what I did literally when I got home after seeing her, right? I went and got one and it's like game changer,
Yeah.
right? So little things like this can really help improve your immune system, your gut health, your overall mental well-being, right? But you can't do everything. You just can't. Um,
You do as much as you can do, as much as you
that's
can
it.
today, and whatever you can do is an improvement, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, and that's it. Mariville said, "Yeah, that's me." It's like also two really quick tips, okay? If you wanted to start learning more about this, social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook Reels, YouTube, get on and start following people.
Yeah.
Start watching. There are people living non-toxic lifestyles who do alternative medicines, who do essential oils, Chinese herbs, acupuncture, tapping, who do tapping, I mean, little things like this really support the cold plunges, intermittent fasting, things that create autophagy, which is the natural body's way of healing itself, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
little things like that, social media, and go find a local farmer or farm stand or produce or butcher or your local eggs and really talk to them. Talk to them. I don't care where you are. You can find it, you know. You can find it. It's there. Go talk to the farmer because you can see what they're using. instead of buying. And a lot of times it's so much cheaper.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Do you have any local, by you, Pauline, do you have any local like farm stands?
We
I know Long Island used to.
Out further east, there are
Mhm.
some local farm stands. I'm very lucky. Where I am, really just minutes away, is Young's Farm, and it's like right in the middle of, super wealth mutton town, right in the middle of like big, huge mansions with gates around them. Then there's Young's Farm, and they make a lot of their own stuff. Yeah, and they grow a lot of their own foods. So yeah,
Yeah.
expensive. It's not cheap. Let me tell you, it's not cheap. But
Well, okay, so let's kind of talk about this real quick. One of the things people say is living this lifestyle is expensive. Okay, right? Would you say it's a little, I mean, you can find things. I find everything Dr. Pina gave me, okay, the protocol,
mhm.
right? Everything averaged about each thing was about 25 to between 20 to $30. So she had me on, let's see, five things. Okay. So we're talking about, 20, say we're average 125 bucks. Guess what? That's cheaper than a trip to urgent care.
Well, but it's worth it. Yeah, I mean, yes, like initially, yes, you're putting out more money, more than a copay, but in the long run, you're saving a lot of money.
Better than an insurance deductible of $2,000 to $7,000,
Yes,
right?
you're working on
So
prevention, and that's much more important. Yes. So
yeah.
yeah,
And then we have here, so Michelle put my mother and my grandmother knew alternative medicine, oregano, bay leaves, vinegar, etc. Yes, one of the go-tos if I started feeling sick, oil of oregano,
yeah,
heavy doses of oil of oregano, and I do turmeric with black pepper in it. It is like one of the best antibiotics you can do. A company I used is Gaia, Gaia. It's organic, third party tested. That's something I like.
yeah.
Find your own, or check it out. They come in pills. I double up, boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, like literally, I've cured an ear infection. My face was swollen through oil of oregano and turmeric pills. It
Yes.
was unbelievable.
Yeah. And to Michelle's point, before, products like oil of oregano and some of these products were out on the shelves, many, because I studied herbal medicine over 25 years ago. And so if I had a little like intestinal virus, or my husband did at the time, if I didn't have anything in the house, I would take a tea. Oh, you always have dried herbs in the house. You always have thyme. You always have rosemary. You always have sage, and you'll always have a little oregano, especially if you're Greek and Italian. You've got these things in the house. You just take a teaspoon of that, steep it in a cup of water, and then drink it. Does it taste wonderful? Not really, but you just get it down. And thyme, a natural spice herb in your cabinet, is anti-parasitic. So, and antimicrobial. So these are the things that we need to know. Everything we need to heal ourselves is already there in nature.
Oh, the one thing I totally agree. The one thing I will say is really one, check the expiration of your herbs. Two, make sure if you can get organic,
Yeah.
right? A lot of the main companies that produce some of these dried herbs use heavy metals. Okay, there's a big company, we're not going to mention a name. It has a red and white container on it. It is a staple for a long time. They just did a research that says it has extremely high levels of heavy metals, okay, and toxins. So
Yeah.
do your research. It's not hard. Google, boop, 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 follow people. We actually have a really good question here. So Marivelle said, I just can't find a way to get rid of fluoride out of the water. You won't, Marivelle. You won't. So what you do is don't drink it. Don't use it, right? Get
You need
a
a filter. You need a filter. So
get a
she must be in an area where they have fluoride in the water. So I don't have that here where I am, but you can get a filter.
Get a filter and
Yeah.
not Brita, right? If Brita's all you can afford, great. What I do is I don't use my tap water. I get 5 gallon jugs of Mountain Valley Spring. I drink with that, cook with that. My animals get that. I have the shower uh, filters so that it doesn't come onto the body and seep through the hair, the skin. You can only control so much, but definitely don't ingest it. Don't cook with it. And definitely get rid of it out of your toothpaste. Fluoride free, definitely toothpaste. And, you know,
Yeah.
Robert Kennedy, he's trying to get rid of all of these chemicals that they're doing. And forget
Yeah.
about the political stuff. We're talking about health here. He's trying to get rid of the fluorides and the heavy metals and, so many things.
Yes.
Whether you like it, not, it is what it is.
Right. And thank God the awareness is coming out. Okay. So they
Yes.
can become more informed.
And then we have a comment, Michelle. She said, you're right. Pay now or pay a lot more later in health bills. Also, garlic is a natural antibiotic. I think we talked about the ginger, right? But you can even slice up some garlic and steep the tea with it too. It is
Crushed,
amazing.
crushed garlic and honey. A
Yeah.
teaspoon of crushed garlic and honey. Oh my God, what a powerful natural antibiotic. Good quality raw honey too, not golden blossom. You want you want a good
Well,
quality.
it's funny you say that because especially if you suffer with allergies. So one of the kind of like farmers' remedies around here, right, is if you suffer from severe allergies, go to your local organic health store, right, or food store, and get local honey, raw honey, especially if it has a little bit of the honeycomb in it, right? And do what Michael said, make some tea with it, do whatever, take a teaspoon, put it in your mouth every day. The local honey will actually get rid of all of your allergies, especially if you do the Claritins, the antihistamines. You don't need it. Within a week or two, you'll notice that the local pollen and everything, your allergies, seasonal allergies will totally go away. I moved here, started doing it. First thing I do is local honey, get my immune system supported, get it used to the pollen. Um, and it's got to be local. Don't buy it from Michigan. Don't buy it from like, wherever. Buy it from where you live because that's where it's really going to make a difference. I'm telling you, natural stuff like this, it's crazy. Um,
And you feel
Manuka
good.
honey.
Yes, Manuka honey.
Well, yes, it's great, but one, they're finding that a lot of the Manuka honey is not actually Manuka honey. And two, some of it is sprayed with glyphosate.
Well,
So really do research because it can only come from New Zealand. And one of the things that they're finding is glyphosate, which is sprayed. It's in Roundup. It's made by Monsanto, right? The
very
big
bad.
evil, very bad. Well, guess what? You talked about Bayer aspirin. Guess who bought Bayer aspirin? Monsanto, right?
So I'm
It's all
sure
a
they're
vicious
aware,
cycle.
yes, that glyphosate is in there and yes. So
Yeah. So do your research with Manuka honey. It is amazing. If you can find a high quality tested, um, it really, yes, from the Manuka tree, yes, but be careful. Do some research. But it is amazing. The healing benefits, it's expensive, especially the higher grades. But the stuff is literally like, healing in a bottle. So if you guys, we're going to have a lot more about this next week. We have somebody coming on, and this is what they do, right? So I'm excited for this, Pauline.
Yes. Yes. Our guest next week she is a, natural healthcare practitioner. She is very,
Don't tell too much. Don't
I'm
tell
not,
too much.
oh, I'm just giving a little teaser. I'm just giving a little teaser of what she does. Yeah,
So
she's very,
here's what I would ask everybody. Comment, comment. What or comment when the show comes on, okay, for our guest. If you have an ailment that you would like maybe some guidance, um, please comment. Okay. So if it's chronic fatigue, if it's whatever, IBS, if it's who knows, right? Comment. Let's kind of dive in. Let's help you. And let's kind of talk about all this stuff. Let's get you guys on the road to recovery and healing and wellness. So comment if you have any issues. A good friend, Jesse, all the way in Florida. Hi, Jesse. I'm a huge fan of her. She is just an amazing, strong woman, doing big things in this world, especially helping people recover and heal from traumas. Big stuff. Um, anyway, so give us a comment on what you would like to talk about as far as your ailment. And let's see what our guest can, if she can help. How's that sound, Pauline?
oh, it sounds good. I don't know that she can test anybody over this, but I think we'll play it by ear. She has a lot of information that I think will be extremely helpful as we
Yeah.
continue our talk on parasites and natural healing.
Um, Also, I want to mention you were in a magazine. You want to talk about that? What magazine? Where can people find this? I don't know. I saw this great picture of you in the magazine.
Oh, it's an online digital magazine. I think there are hard copies of it. You can go to Instagram and it's called Magnate View, Magnate View. And they interview different people. And I don't know, I was categorized as one of the top unstoppable women uh, um, changing the future. Um, I'm a little modest, so yes. Well, and I think it has everything to do with not only natural healing, but the energy work that I do, the ascension process, the rise of ascension, the expansion of the mind, the consciousness, and the body. That is the work that I do, and that is the future. So
Yeah, the shift of consciousness. Well, that's great. I wanted to kind of put that out there so people can check that out.
thank you.
I know you've posted it on your page, and it's okay. You can be modest, but people need to know.
Thank you. Well,
Um,
I will be posting the actually updated cover photo and the link to the article if anybody wants to read it. And it's my views on women's empowerment and a little bit of my story and what I'm looking to do in the future, what I want to see in the future.
Excellent. Maribel said, "Yay, you go, girl.
Thank you, Marivelle.
You go, girl. Can't stop you, only hope to contain you." So listen, everyone, thank you. We can keep going with this, but I think this is just going to be a little bit of a tip of the iceberg. We've talked about how to heal traumas, how to heal self. Now this is just the deeper part of that. All of it combined, body, mind, spirit,
Yeah.
and that's what it's about.
Well,
That's what it's about.
physical piece is extremely important because the cleaner your body is, the clearer your mind is, and the stronger your health will be. And that actually helps, aids the soul in awakening, in the spirit in its ascension process. It's very difficult to ascend with a toxic body. All right. So cleaning out the body, as I wrote in my book, your body is your temple. It needs to be kept clean so the spirit can thrive. So it is part of it. It's part of it. We can't
Yeah,
just,
and
yeah,
living a toxic lifestyle or having these things that are just not good for you or walking around with physical ailments, right? Whether it's autoimmune, whatever it may be, really does lower your vibration. And, if you're not, healthy, you can't, this is going to give you all the tools to help yourself,
yeah.
come to your own rescue, as I always say.
Well, we bring the awareness, and they still have some homework to do on their own. And listen, it should be fun. It should be fun to explore some of these things. And like you said, right? It's Instagram and YouTube. There's lots of people that are herbalists professionally. So follow them, learn some things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Everyone, listen, have a great week. Buckle up energetically. Remember, get out of your own way. Nothing is ever perfect. We are always works in progress, and everything happens in divine order. But just be well, be safe. Much love to everybody.
Much love. Go out to that full moon lunar eclipse tomorrow and purge all your negativity and stand in your power. Sending you all much love.
Much love. Have a great day, everyone.